Today, we play one of the oldest courses in the world. Kinghorn, created by old Tom Morris himself in 1887, is a links masterpiece on the coast of Scotland. You'll see the trademark pot bunkers, the sandy fairways and absolutely rapid greens. As this drone shot of the first hole, you can see the bumps and undulations, and there's not really too many flat bits. It is going to be an absolute challenge today to get a clean shot off. The par 4 first, 326 yards. I was really excited to start off my round at Kinghorn, a place where I've played only a few times, but it's just a place that you do not forget once you have played it. My tee shot did fade off to the right. The hill quickly took the ball into the rough. 151 yards. Length is not going to be a problem today. There is not one single par 5 on this links course, and it is only a par 65. It is going to be a real challenge, and there is my almost trademark-esque first iron shot on the fairway, leaving me 29 yards from. Look how thick that rough is, you cannot even see the ball. I managed to get a really good shot off, and it rolls off the back of the green. We will see here tremendous camera work once more, fitting of such an incredible course, but this putt is definitely fitting to save bogey. The second hole, a par 3, absolute blind tee shot. You've got to really just aim for that pole in the middle of the fairway and hope for the best. It is quite a long par 3, 188 yards it was playing today. Take my trusty 5-iron off the tee. Smooth contact. It did manage to roll right off the back. Very close, probably closer than I would like, so just small contact on it, but will absolutely take the 1-putt par as we move on to possibly one of the most unique holes I have ever played. It is downhill. There is a wall right through the middle of it just before the green. Trouble behind the green. And you really have to pick the correct club. 173 yards, but it is just a sheer downhill. And today there is quite a severe wind, on and off, coming in off the coast. So I chose an 8-iron. But did not quite get all of it, and it bounced down the fairway and ricocheted back off this wall, which has probably been here since about 1887, exactly when the course was created. Incredible piece of history. About to take my lob wedge and just lift the ball over onto the green. Again, the rough is incredibly thick. You really do not want to be in there, and I have been there all 3 holes so far. But a good chip, rolled very close to the hole. An opportunity for par. Those lush greens, and I just leapt out for the first time, but I guarantee you it will not be the last time today. Moving on to the 4th, it is a par 4. Very wide fairway. The fairway is shared by multiple holes. and there is bunkers in play. Now this footage is rather old, those bunkers have been changed slightly into pot bunkers, and to the left of the fairway, just slightly back, there is a putting green, and I am saying that because I'm about to hit it into the putting green. You just cannot see it for that rather large bush there. So it did roll through the putting green. It's only 267 yards. I thought if I took my driver I could get relatively close to the fairway, and I pretty much hit it basically about 268 yards. And you can see the bunkers have been changed into pot bunkers. The lob wedge just to get it on the green, but it did roll all the way through, and thankfully they have been changed into pot bunkers, or else I would be in the middle of the bunker here. Got very, very lucky with this one. And you will see very quickly how fast those greens are. Still rolling all the way down the hill. I will have a chance for par, trying to emulate the putt on the first hole, and you can see the flag just absolutely blowing around in that breeze. A lot of these videos have been muted just because it is sheer wind being picked up by the speaker. As we double back on ourselves onto the fifth, the par 4. Again, just the huge shared fairway, and it does go down into the valley there, and the green is almost like an island green. Your second shot will absolutely be to a raised green, as I'm just hoping to get as close to the valley as possible. 317 yards total. Very, very wide, and it turns out to be almost an inch perfect drive. It did go past the pole in the middle of the fairway, but as soon as I got up close to it, I seen that it was in a divot from a previous shot. Really, really tough on links courses, and you can see I hooked it as I did just try to get under it, and it is going to be somewhat up the hill to the left there. Quite a good distance, however, but this is the birdie shot here, and quite a severe downhill, quite a lot of hills on this course. So trying to just land it a couple of bounces in the rough, and you can see I've done that. I think there was about 3 bounces in the rough there before it made its way onto the green, but it still went just slightly further than I had hoped to leave my par putt. Now the greens were being seen to just pretty much before I got to them. The grass was being cut and sort of treated right before I got there, so the greens were absolutely perfect, and really, really had some incredible putts on this round, as you will see. Moving on to the 6th, it is a par 4 for the white tees, which are way behind me. It's about 250 yards, but on the yellow tees, which I'm playing off today, 152 yard par 3, but it is completely blind. You're just playing it over that mound on the left hand side and hoping for the best. I went with my trusty 6-iron just to make sure I did get it over there. Normally about 150 yards I would be hitting quite a comfortable 7-iron, but left myself about 35 yards to the flag. Again, downhill, almost a flop-esque shot out of the rough there, and I got it probably as close as I could do with my skill set. And the bogey putt, the par putt, sorry, is followed by a tap-in bogey to take me to +5. Again, this is going to be another sort of blind tee shot, par 4. It is just over 300 yards, and if you hit it correctly, that hill on the right will just sort of take it down and push it further and further to the hole. Anything left here is completely out of bounds over that wall, so you've got absolutely no chance. You really are forced to play it right. And you'll see the hill there is quite severe. 309 yards. There's another driver, and I did aim for the right of the stick there in the middle of the fairway. Left myself with just 64 yards. And just another wedge up onto the green. It is above my head. Like I said, there is a lot of hills on this course, but on the back nine, it's not that it flattens out, it's just less severe than it is on the front nine. And that chip just got too much on it, and you can see the wind probably carried it as well, but the green's absolutely inch perfect, and you can see the views in the background are just picturesque. You're right on the coast here in Kinghorn, and that putt was nowhere near enough, just not as fast as I was expecting like the previous holes have been. The par putt is further away than I would like, trying to just remain at 5 over. Never really got close with that one, it was always fading to the left, and this could be one of the most picturesque holes. It's definitely one of the most picturesque holes I've ever played so far in my short golfing career. The 8th at Kinghorn, par 4. It is a stroke hole 1, so the toughest hole on the course. A couple of bunkers there in play. And you can see the tee shot is pretty much blind. The sun does come out later on in the round, so not to worry, it becomes an absolutely gorgeous day. And you do have to aim left, really, but across that fence is completely out of bounds on the other side. Left myself with 228 yards. And it does go severely downhill at points, but it is unfortunately going to be a chunk with the 5-iron, and it takes me very, very close to the out of bounds. Apologies again for the camera work here. 155 yards downhill, I have decided to use a 8-iron, and trying to make the most of the hill that goes from left to right here. Quite severe. I do use it, and I do end up on the green, surprisingly. And what follows is just absolutely pure insanity. Absolute insanity. You can see the sand that has been laid on the greens. They're absolutely inch perfect here. And that played into my favour with such an incredible par putt to remain at +6. Could not even believe that went in. That's 2 incredible putts today, the 1st and the 8th. As we move on to the final hole of today's video, the 9th is a very short par 4, but a unique tee shot as you play over the top of another hole. It is just an incredibly unique course. As you play just underneath there is the par 3 hole that we played. It's only 226 yards off this tee, so I have just chosen a 5-iron to find the fairway over the hill. It is almost blind, so you hit the shot, you can see the green, but unless you land your ball on the green from 58 yards away, then you cannot see where the ball lands. And the undulations here have played against me really, and I couldn't quite get the camera to prop up, so honestly don't mind cutting my head off a little bit to make sure I get the shot in. It's just going to be a lob wedge from 58 yards. It's almost like a tabletop green there. Just wanted to land it on the front and roll it out because it is very, very fast, and that's pretty much what I do there. You can see rolled out. I was expecting it to roll closer to the hole with the slight hill, but I do have a green in regulation and an opportunity for birdie. And yet again, I know I've had the comment, I need to take the flag out, and there the flag goes. Absolutely thrown away. and I do get a par to be just 6 over on the front 9. As we have a look at the scorecard for that front 9, it is a par 33 and managing to be 39. Could today be the first day I ever hit in the 70s? I'm not sure if it counts if it's on Kinghorn's par 65, but we'll see how we get on. Some extra stats in there: fairways in regulation 4 out of 6 and greens in regulation 2 out of 9, and of course my handicap for the course is 21. So hopefully we'll see you next week for part 2 at Kinghorn Golf Club.